Good morning, Natural Grandma viewers. Well, if you got our video that said I found trouble, this is the sequel to it. Boy, it's a pretty white steer right there. Be a 8th Charolais, and the rest of him's Red Angus, but he sure got the Charolais color. But again, we found trouble in that last video. Not where's Waldo, but where's trouble. Beautiful lake behind our cattle here. That's not on our property, but it's a nice neighbor. Actually, the Marylandius, I think. That's his cabin. Beautiful lake. Sure is pretty skies this morning. But we're up here with the cows. It got down to 27 last night, so it's really fearing having to be in the mud. But I've unrolled 6 bales of hay, and what I'm doing here is that on past that cabin and swing on around down in there where those trees are is the far side of this pasture. That's still some really growed up stockpile down in there. It's not very high quality grass. That's why they kind of left it, but it's left and like that for years because that is about 1,400 feet from water. So you get over here a long ways from water, and even in the summertime they don't graze it the same. They leave a lot more growth, and then once they leave more growth, you continuously have more growth. So what I've done this morning is I've brought 6 bales of hay up the top of this mountain. If you could see it, you see why I called it that, but it was just frozen enough that in 4-wheel lock I could get up here. And then I got over the top of it, and I got all this growed up grass that they really, even grazing the stockpile, they haven't hit it. So I went down in there, and on the contour I've unrolled hay. You can see a path past these trees. You can see that path right there. That's where I went and unrolled hay. Come around on the contour. You put those paths of hay down in there, and they're going to follow the hay, and they're going to fill their bellies up, and then they'll get up and they'll say, oh, I think I'll bite some of this grass off. And it's got some green in it because it's been underneath snow, and they'll work that sward down a little bit so when it does get to be spring this year, won't have quite so much growth. It'll let a little more sunlight in, encourage some new grass to come. It will also maybe some legumes to come, and will just increase the quality of our pasture. And then if you really want to attack this, the best thing to do would be put a water tank right here about where I'm standing, and get a bilge pump or something and pump water from the pond that's to my back to the south up top this hill, and then hold them back here and make them graze this down, put some pressure on it. Use your animals, folks, to improve the quality of your pasture. The more you improve your quality of your pasture, the more you improve the grazing, the better the animals do. And you just see ways all the time to utilize your resources better. They really haven't used this. It's got quite a bit of warm season grass. It's got broom's edge in it, so you know when it was farmed it probably washed away years and years ago. This hadn't been farmed for 50 years probably, and it's been in rotational grazing for over 40. So very high quality grass, but we just didn't utilize it the way we did until we got to the top of this hill. You see, we still have lots of grass here, lots of soil armor, as Greg Judy likes to call it. Lots of soil armor, and got some beautiful cow pats there. That was probably left last week when they was eating. There's 6 bales of hay in this cell, but there was ice on this enough that they just didn't go eat this. So we've come back to it because we're muddy now. We had some rain, and there's no better place to be than up here where you got too much sward, too much growth, and put a little hoof action on it. And you get more of that carbon down into the earth where the microbes can get a hold of it, and the earthworms, and turn that back into soil. They'll grow more grass. Just a big circle. It's not brain science. It's just an area where they're not grazing. Try to put high pressure on it. I've seen Greg Judy do it on pond dams and stuff that was growed up, and he'd let them in the pond dam and they just weren't grazing that old growth because it's years of sward and it pokes them in the nose. And so you put, 500,000 pounds to acre this summer on that, and for 6 hours, and then move them, and we'll bring that around to where then the next time they come around they will eat it better. But today we're using our unrolled hay out here in this winter paradise. Beautiful view from up here, and we're feeding our cows. We're not in lots, we're not in barns. I don't disagree with people who want to put their cattle in barns if that's their desire. It's all right with me. And use the deep bedding, it works. It's Joel Salting calls it a cow diaper. I think there's a great debate going on between a video that Joel Salton published, and on Greg Judy's channel they're dissecting that because Greg doesn't ever put his cattle in a barn. We don't ever put our cattle in a barn either. But if you're in a different area and you never know your soil type, what works on one farm doesn't work on everybody's. Gotta be open-minded and not create too much adversity or diversity between you guys. So anyways, there's a nice little Dennis McDonald cow, about a 2.6 frame score. She is a calf producer. I think that's 14. We have a bull out of her. Her first bull calf was sired by Triton. It was an AI conception. So a mush rush Triton bull on that cow, and that's our number 50 bull, Ringo. And we use him on heifers, and that's probably her bull calf this year out of one of our Red Angus bulls. So you got a grass genetic kind of calf there. He's probably, that one's showing a lot of hair, but I bet he'll shed off a little more like his mama when spring comes. But lower to the ground, bigger capacity rooming, and that's where we're headed. We got some 2 tall cows out here that have raised a lot of nice calves for us, and they didn't cost $4,000. The cows didn't. And we've been using Triton Mush Rush genetics and Kit Farrow Red Angus genetics, and by golly, we're just about to make this year we should make a lot more culling of some big tall frame cows. They're not real tall. I mean, our biggest cows are 13, and there's just 2 or 3 of them that weigh 1350. But they are made right. That debate's going on the Kit Farrow email channel too. So it's a good time of year to debate. What else man's got to do that spends his time moving cows around in the summer? Winter's a time to check out new ideas. So isn't that your grandma? We just wish you were having this good of a day.